What a dumbass.
So Mike Schmidt is our presenter today and speaker. Outside of work, Mike is the father of 6 and grandfather of 10. Mike says Christmas is getting very expensive, so enough. That's enough. At this stage in his career, Mike's many years of experience matters so much, and his clients greatly appreciate his expertise. One of Mike's goals is to continue to research new technology to help lower the cost of structural repairs. Today's presentation will be reviewing some of those new technologies. Thank you, Mike. Take it away.
Peachy. Okay, I am the master of one-liners that are really, really cheesy and horrible. So just, don't drink any coffee while I'm talking because it may damage your computer screen. So first line, just because it's cracked doesn't always mean it's broken. Okay, that is a big thing here in Colorado. And let's see, why is this not
Use your arrow keys on your keyboard, left and right.
Oh, there we go. Thank you, Chris. Okay, so it's still not doing anything here. Why is this so damn slow? This is so annoying, but anyways. Okay, so yeah, I do have 6 kids, 10 grandkids. I have a boatload of animals because we do animal rescue. We are down to 6 animals in our house currently, so that's probably the least amount we've had. I am a part-time radio DJ as well. Yes, I do have tattoos. I like hot rods. That red one in the corner is mine. And yes, I still know how to roller skate. I do enjoy singing. I used to perform up at Blackhawk, and I also restore old vintage stereo equipment and have several different music rooms in my house. So let's see if this now goes to the next page. And there we go. Okay, real quick, foundation types. We have beam on grade, okay, which is one of the newest and most common types where basically your house just floats. If you look in the middle there, you'll see caisson, okay, and so your house sits on these steel concrete piers and it floats. You typically know you have that kind of foundation when you see a wooden floor in a basement and has a subcrawl. That means there was a lot of soil movement registered when the house was built. Spread footing is your most common type. Basically just a 12-inch, concrete pad where your wall sits on top of it. Intermittent spread footing was somebody's brainiac idea to address a lot of soil movement, and it was a huge failure and a lot of business for me, which I enjoy. And again, the drilled piers, your grade beams, your slab. One of the worst foundations you can have in Colorado is slab. So if anybody in the industry knows the Hoffman subdivisions, the one up north of by Washington and Thornton Parkway, all right, they're just a big concrete slab on dirt, and they are extremely difficult to fix, typically not worth fixing, and they just move everywhere, okay? And then post-tension is the most common one used for industrial and commercial buildings where they have these cables that are put under real high tension inside the concrete slab. Now, in these kinds of cases, that technology works great. But for houses, not so much. Movement types. Heave basically is up. Settlement, well, that's down. Lateral rotation is basically when your walls start to tip in, okay? And I will discuss that one a little bit further. That is an extremely common one here with what we call the shoebox homes, the 20 by 40 ranch style homes. They experience this type of movement. And then there's just straight lateral movement where the wall actually bows in like this, all right? And you see like a horizontal crack that goes all the way across the walls. Very, very common one. Repair types. Now, repair types, so helical piers, basically, it's just a fancy word for a big-ass corkscrew that goes 25 to 30 feet down in the ground. And then it gets attached to the side of your foundation, okay? So if you look in the upper left-hand corner there, and you see that steel rod sticking out of the ground, that shaft is down about 30 feet into the ground, and then a bracket gets attached to the side of the foundation wall below the floor, and that's what holds it up. Wall anchors, basically, if you look in the bottom left-hand corner, wall anchors, just a steel dead man. all right, which holds the wall up utilizing the pressures that you can apply to virgin soil. Helical tiebacks are a sideways corkscrew, and you'll see that in the middle screen there, just above where all the blue is, okay? Counterforts are big, huge foundations that are built perpendicular to your main foundation on the outside. And as you'll see some of the pictures I'm going to show you, how terribly wrong those things can go. Carbon fiber is a technology I've been using for the last 15 or so years. Carbon fiber has reduced the cost of structural repairs by as much as half. It's 10 times stronger than steel. It's a lot less expensive. It's much easier to use. And I like saving money for my customers. So if you look in the top there and you see the black grid, this is a building that was an old building tied into a new building. And the city wouldn't allow any of the steel type connectors that you normally would use. So we basically just put a big, huge grid and connected the two buildings together. And that is an actual 7-Eleven on Colfax, and it's still standing today. Full replacement of foundations. We only do 1 or 2 a year. We basically pick the entire house up, rip out the foundation, pour a new one, set the house back down on it again. And some of the newest technology we've taken on now is foam injections. Now, a lot of you probably seen the commercials for sidewalks, you know, and driveways. That's not this foam. This foam is actually a structural density foam. I can pick up to a 6-story building up with this stuff. It is used on runways for international airports, for bridge on and off ramps when they have sunk, or culverts when you have washout. And this stuff is amazing. It is a lot less expensive than steel and excavation, again, which I like. Just to give you an idea of cost comparison, a 2-car garage to fix with helical piers is about $24,000. To do it with foam is about $8,000. And you have the same result. And so I love this technology. Currently, we're the only ones using it for residential and commercial applications in the state of Colorado. There are 2 companies that do it on an industrial level, which I'm not interested in doing as far as that goes, but it has come down so much in price. And no, it's not a new technology. It has been around since the 80s. It's just now come down enough in price that we can use it for residential. So here's my thing whenever I do my speech. Gutters, clean them. Downspouts, clean them. Grading, not next season, this season. Grading and these other 2 items there are the #1 reasons why foundations fail. So go around when there's a rainstorm and it's coming down heavy, go outside and make sure that your gutters aren't overflowing. Make sure that they're not leaking. Make sure that your downspouts aren't clogged. Or as this house, you see the middle picture, you don't have water pooling around the base of your house. Because we as humans cause the majority of our own problems when it comes to structural. Now, Mother Nature's always offer medication, all right, at least for the last 15 to 20 years. And so, you know, our weather conditions are unpredictable at best. We always get extremes, whether it be extreme dries, extreme wets, whatever the case may be, and it causes a lot of problems. So let's not help Mother Nature. Let's prevent Mother Nature from hurting your house. So all of these pictures that we're going to look at could have been prevented. Okay, so the horizontal crack, you know, the lateral movement, this is what it looks like. And so as you can see, the white, that's efflorescence. That means water is wicking through the concrete, not pouring, but wicking. So that means the water is sitting behind there continuously. And as it sits behind there, it picks up all the little crystalline items in the wall. And then when it comes through on the other side, it dries and it leaves that white residue. It's not mold. It's not dangerous. I find a lot of pets will lick it because it's kind of salty to them. But that is a common lateral movement, okay? It looks dramatic, but it's easy to fix. So when I was talking to one of the gentlemen about painting, scratch coating and painting of brick is very, very destructive to old brick buildings, okay? As you can see here, when we took this scratch coat, we see the bolt sticking through there. When we took that scratch coat off, the entire outer width of that brick came down because it turned to powder. The only thing that was holding it on was an 1/8 of an inch scratch coat on the wall. Okay, so sealing a wall like that from the outside, it can be very, very dangerous to a foundation. That's why the staining method, I love that, because you are not preventing the bricks from being able to dry out if they do get moist. So the one on the left was basically poor gutters. And the water came in from the inside and completely rotted out the entire framing structure of this sunroom. And then on the other side here with the very unstraight beam here, okay, so a lot of moisture in the crawl space. That huge concrete pad, okay, believe it or not, was forced up by expanding clay and caused that beam to rotate. And if they would have just regraded the property and kept what I call the 4-foot no zone around the foundation, all right, no plants, no watering, just rock and black landscape fabric, that would have not happened. And that's a very, very expensive fix, because unfortunately, once you stretch steel, it's hard to unstretch it. And it becomes a very, very expensive repair. This was basically, this is the landing of a commercial building, an apartment complex. And they didn't pay attention to the water running from the top of the property. You see the retaining wall back there, and the water just kept washing away the dirt under the base of this staircase. And that building was red tagged by the fire department as unsafe to live in. It took us 7 months to fix this building. It was so bad. Us humans, the wonderful things we do. So take a look to the left. See that water heater? Instead of putting 2 20-gallon shorties, they dug out next to the foundation and put in this water heater. Well, then they wondered why the foundation was moving in that part of the corner, because they completely undermined the cone of compression underneath that footing. And it was over $20,000 to fix it, when all they had to do was put 2 shorties in there. Okay, so the one to the right is a commercial fireplace in an office, and they had a sprinkler system right next to the footing of the fireplace, and it just ran and ran and ran and ran, and you know, so on and so forth, until the chimney finally separated. Now we measured that separation at almost 4 inches, so that became a hazard to the parking lot, because that chimney was no longer you know, able to stand up on its own. This is what a complete cellar replacement looks like. This place was so bad that the walls were crumbling in and the house was starting to collapse in on itself. So we picked the house up and we basically built a brand new foundation underneath it, and then set the house back down on it again. And if you want to know how much it is, it's a lot. A small little 900 square foot house like this was over $100,000. Now, remember I was saying about the counterfort? These people didn't like the fact that the counterfort was sticking up above the ground. So instead of covering it up with dirt, they elected to get a jackhammer and jackhammer part of this away. Again, you know, us humans, we make so many of our own problems. So these things here are about $15,000 a piece to remove and replace. So just because they didn't like it above grade, that's how much money they cost. And they didn't do it to just one. They did it to another one. So it was $30K worth of work plus engineering and permitting. It was a disaster. And that's it. So again, I'm going to go back to your gutters. Clean them. Downspouts, clean them. Make sure your grading is positive, and you probably never have to have me come to your house ever. And I appreciate everybody's attention. Thank you very much.
And we would love for you to visit us. So you can go to our website, www.bnirme.com, and come see us on Thursday mornings. Thank you and have a wonderful day.